All right, now on for our problem set. And this is what we'd like to do for guided practice. Our worksheets are going to look a lot like this year, okay? So let's get started here. First, I'm going to make sure that my name is on top and the date. I use the short date here, okay? You can use whatever kind of date you want. Up here is the I can statement, and down here are the directions. Read the questions carefully and write your answers in the answer boxes. Well, let's kind of do this together, okay? Let's look at this and says, we're going to go down through these together and just so you understand how this whole thing works or runs, all right? So, starting off with, I've got use place value chart to help you solve the equations below. 10 times 3 ones. All right, now if you remember, a 1 looks like this, and this is what 3 ones looks like, okay? Just 1, 2, 3, right? Just like that. So what we're looking for here is I'm going to write down 10 times that amount. So what I need to do is write down 10 rows of 3. So I'm going to do that, 10 rows of 3, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I got 5, 9, and I'm going to go past the box here a little bit, which is completely fine. And then what I'm going to do is see here is that I just wrote out 30 ones. That's a lot of ones. So instead of writing 30 ones, I'm going to group this 10 together and bring it over here and make 1 10. And then I'm going to group this group of ones together and bring that over as well and make another group of 10. And then I'm going to group this group of ones together and bring that over as well. And then I end up with 3 10s. All right? So my answer would be 3 10s. Now, anytime anything ends with the number 10, I know that it's got a 0 at the end, all right? Because 10 ends in just 1 0. Okay? So the answer here is 30. Let's keep moving. Now, if at any point here, teachers, you feel like you need to pause or explain something, by all means do it. You read your questions and do what you need to do. All right, down here is problem 1B. And now we're dealing with 10 times 2 10s. All right, so this is what our 10 looks like, if you remember that. And there's 2 10s. So 2 10s looks like this. I mean, these are big bars, all right? And this is actually 10 of these ones stacked together to make a 10. That's what we made up here, actually, with these 10s, 3 of these things all together. Let's see if it all right, so down here, we've got 2 10s. And we need to do that times 10. So we need 10 rows of 2. So what I like to do is see this little multiplication sign here. I'd like to say rows of. Okay, rows of 2. Sometimes I like to say groups of as well. Sometimes I say groups of if I'm making groups. But today we're making rows. So I say 10 rows of 2 10s. So that's what I'm going to do. So there's my 2 10s. In the tens place, not the ones, because that's what it says right here, 10s. And I'm going to make 10 rows. So there's 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows, 7 rows, 8 rows, 9 rows, 10 rows. 10 rows of 2 10s, okay? So these little circles represent 10s because I'm in the tens place value. So now what I need to do is instead of saying I've got 20 10s, what I'm going to do is group these together. So 10 10s, 10 of these guys makes one of these, and this is a hundreds block if you remember these. So 10 of these stacked together is 100, which is 100 of those little guys all glued together here like that, okay? So I'm going to take that guy and regroup him over here to make 100, and take this 10 here and regroup them over there to make another 100. So then you look up here and say, well, how many hundreds do I have? And that's right, the answer is 2. I have 2 hundreds. So that's written down here as 200, okay? Because 100 ends in 2 zeros. You see how that works? Okay, all right, let's keep moving. We're doing great. Okay, so here is C, part C here. 4 hundreds times 10. All right, now this is a little different. It starts off with the hundreds, and the 10 is the second one. So here are my hundreds, all right? This is 100 little ones right like this, right? Or 10 of these stacked together, okay? So we are dealing with 4 of these, okay? So 4 hundreds times 10. So what I'm going to do here is go to my hundreds place value. It's not the 10s, it's not the 1s. I need to make sure I'm in the hundreds place value, and I need to do that times 10. So here, I look at this little guy and I see rows of, okay? So 4 rows of 10. So I'm gonna go this direction this time, okay? Because I always like to say rows of. So 4 rows of 10, so 4 hundreds rows of 10. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a row of 10. Here's another. I'm going to try to keep them as even as possible. Okay, so it makes it look like a nice array. You might remember that word array from last year. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And then the fourth row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now what we can do here is, now that I got these hundreds, I got all these hundreds, 4 rows of 10, I know that's 40, but it's 40 hundreds, which is a lot. So I'm gonna group 10 of them together and pop that over here and make 1,000. I'm gonna group the next 10, right? Because believe it or not, if I put 10 of these together, I get 1,000, 1,000 ones, 1,000 of those guys. That's a lot to count out. I'm gonna group those together. Oop, forgot to bring that over. Get my 2. I'm gonna bring that guy over. There's 3. And then finally, my last row of 10, I'm gonna have, good, 4 rows of it, all right, 4. So I end up with, right here, 4 thousands. So 4,000, okay? Just like that. Okay. All right, nice work. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the part 2 here, number 2, okay? So these are going to be worded pretty confusing. They're not written straightforward. A lot of times worksheet makers, whoever, kind of do things to confuse us. So we're gonna work through these together to make sure that we can handle this, all right? So complete the following statements using your knowledge of place value. All right, so place value is this up here, 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands. So I'm gonna look here, it says 10 times as many as 110. That is really written poorly. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna rewrite it, something that I can understand a little bit better. I'm gonna say 10 times, so 10 times, right? That's starting to look more familiar to me. As many as 110. So 110, okay? So as many as 110. So 10 times as many as 110, okay? As many as 110. So 110 is this, okay? Well, that's equal to 10 times 10. If I count by 10 times, I get 100, okay? But I do know this. 10 times as many as 110 is equal to 10 tens. So here's 110. If I have 10 of these all put together, okay, 10 of these guys all put together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay, 10 tens. That's what 10 tens look like. It is exactly the same as one of these hundreds. See that? It fits perfectly right over the top of it, just like that, okay? So it's the answer is 100 ones, but how many tens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's actually equal to 10 of those tens. So how many tens? 10 tens. Okay? Whew. All right, so here we go. This is all trying to make your brain out. Just be a good listener. Try not to get frustrated. Do your best with these things and listen as best you can. I'm going to pause the video right now and start a new one in 3 seconds.